When installing fire alarm systems in rated corridors, it's important to maintain the fire resistance rating of the walls and ceilings. Using standard cut-in boxes can compromise this rating, as you've discovered with the difficulty in finding Underwriters Laboratories listed 2IO boxes. Fortunately, there are several alternatives to consider that avoid cutting into the drywall. Firstly, consider surface-mounted raceway systems. These fire-rated raceways can be installed along the corridor ceiling or walls, providing a protected pathway for fire alarm wiring and devices. Ensure the raceway system itself is rated for 2IO fire resistance. Route all wiring and devices for the fire alarm system within these raceways. Secondly, explore using electrical metallic tubing conduit in conjunction with fire-rated mud rings. Install the electrical metallic tubing conduit either in the corridor walls or ceiling. The key is to use fire-rated mud rings to securely attach the conduit and any associated boxes. This maintains the 2IO fire rating of the assembly. Thirdly, concealed conduit is an option, although it may involve more work. Install concealed conduit channels in the drywall behind the rated corridor. After routing the fire alarm wiring through these channels, seal all openings with fire-rated caulk or putty pads to prevent fire and smoke from spreading. Fourthly, investigate fire-rated ceiling boxes. If there is a suspended or dropped ceiling above the rated corridor, consider using fire-rated ceiling boxes designed to maintain the 2IO fire rating of the ceiling system. Ensure these boxes are specifically listed for fire-rated ceiling assemblies. Fifthly, remodeling boxes offer a solution that minimizes drywall disruption. These specially designed remodeling boxes can be installed without completely cutting out the drywall. They often feature a flexible conduit system and fire-rated backplates to preserve the 2IO rating. Read the manufacturer's documentation to verify the fire rating and proper installation method. Sixthly, low-profile surface boxes can be used where space is limited. Install these low-profile surface boxes directly onto the drywall surface, using fire-rated covers to enclose the wiring and devices. Be aware that these boxes provide a limited amount of space, so careful planning is necessary. Seventhly, wireless fire alarm devices present a way to bypass wired connections altogether. Consider using wireless smoke detectors, manual pull stations, and other wireless devices. These communicate wirelessly and can be installed on the surface or in recessed cavities, reducing the need to penetrate the fire-rated barrier. However, make sure the wireless system complies with all applicable fire codes and has reliable signal transmission. Remember, these additional considerations are crucial. Always consult with a qualified fire alarm installer or inspector. This ensures that your installation complies with all applicable local and national codes and standards. It's also imperative to only use Underwriters Laboratories listed and fire-rated materials. Using non-rated components will compromise the fire resistance of the corridor. Seal all openings around boxes, conduits, and raceways. Use approved fire-rated materials to prevent the spread of fire and smoke. Fire-rated caulk, putty, and other sealing compounds are available for this purpose. Choosing the right solution depends on several factors. These include the existing construction, the specific fire alarm system requirements, and applicable local codes. The goal is to provide reliable fire alarm protection. This is done without compromising the fire resistance of the rated corridor. Let's delve into each option in more detail. For surface-mounted raceways, selecting the correct raceway is paramount. Look for raceways that are specifically designed and listed for fire-rated applications. These raceways will have been tested to withstand fire for a specified duration, typically 1 or 2 hours. The listing information will indicate the fire resistance rating and the specific installation requirements. When installing the raceway, carefully follow the manufacturer's instructions. This will include details on how to properly support the raceway, how to make connections, and how to seal any penetrations. Pay close attention to the types of fasteners and supports that are required to maintain the fire rating. Consider the aesthetics of the raceway system. Choose a raceway that is paintable or comes in a color that blends well with the surrounding decor. This will help to minimize the visual impact of the installation. Think about the future needs of the fire alarm system. Select a raceway that has sufficient capacity to accommodate any future wiring or device additions. This will avoid the need to install additional raceways later on. When using electrical metallic tubing conduit with fire-rated mud rings, it is important to select the correct type and size of conduit. The electrical metallic tubing conduit is a rigid steel conduit that is commonly used for electrical wiring. Ensure that the conduit is properly grounded and bonded to prevent electrical hazards. Fire-rated mud rings are used to seal the space between the conduit and the wall or ceiling. These rings are typically made of a fire-resistant material, such as mineral wool or intumescent foam. The mud ring should be sized to fit the conduit and the wall or ceiling opening. During installation, ensure that the mud rings are properly compressed around the conduit. This will create a tight seal that prevents the passage of fire and smoke. Use a fire-rated caulk or sealant to further seal the gap between the mud ring and the wall or ceiling. When using concealed conduit, it is important to plan the conduit routing carefully. The conduit should be installed in a manner that minimizes the number of bends and turns. This will make it easier to pull the wiring through the conduit. Use appropriate fittings to connect the conduit sections. Ensure that all fittings are properly tightened and sealed to prevent the passage of fire and smoke. After the conduit is installed, carefully seal all openings with fire-rated caulk or putty pads. Pay close attention to any penetrations through fire-rated walls or ceilings. Consider using fire-rated junction boxes to provide access to the wiring. These boxes should be properly sealed to maintain the fire rating of the wall or ceiling. Fire-rated ceiling boxes are designed to be installed in suspended or draught ceilings. These boxes are typically made of steel or other fire-resistant materials. The boxes are designed to prevent the passage of fire and smoke through the ceiling. When selecting a fire-rated ceiling box, ensure that it is compatible with the type of ceiling system being used. The box should be properly supported and secured to the ceiling structure. Use fire-rated caulk or sealant to seal any gaps between the box and the ceiling. Remodeling boxes are designed to be installed in existing walls or ceilings without cutting out large sections of drywall. These boxes typically have a flexible conduit system that allows the wiring to be routed through the wall or ceiling cavity. The boxes also have fire-rated backplates that help to maintain the fire rating of the wall or ceiling. When installing a remodeling box, carefully follow the manufacturer's instructions. This will ensure that the box is properly installed and that the fire rating is maintained. Low-profile surface boxes are designed to be mounted directly on the surface of a wall or ceiling. These boxes are typically made of plastic or metal. The boxes are designed to provide a limited amount of space for wiring and devices. When selecting a low-profile surface box, ensure that it is large enough to accommodate the wiring and devices. The box should be securely mounted to the wall or ceiling. Use fire-rated caulk or sealant to seal any gaps between the box and the wall or ceiling. Wireless fire alarm devices can be a convenient option for fire alarm installations in rated corridors. These devices eliminate the need for wiring, which can reduce the amount of disruption to the wall or ceiling. However, it is important to carefully consider the reliability of wireless devices. Wireless signals can be affected by interference from other devices. It is important to choose a wireless system that is reliable and that has been tested to meet fire safety standards. The system should have a backup power source in case of a power outage. The wireless devices should be regularly tested to ensure that they are functioning properly. In addition to the specific alternatives discussed above, there are some general considerations that should be taken into account when installing fire alarm systems in rated corridors. Firstly, carefully review the local building codes and fire codes. These codes will specify the requirements for fire alarm systems in rated corridors. Secondly, consult with a qualified fire alarm installer or inspector. A qualified professional can help you to select the right materials and installation methods to meet the code requirements. Thirdly, use only Underwriters Laboratories listed and fire-rated materials. This will help to ensure that the fire alarm system is safe and effective. Fourthly, seal all openings around boxes and raceways with fire-rated materials. This will help to prevent the spread of fire and smoke. Fifthly, test the fire alarm system after it is installed. This will help to ensure that the system is functioning properly. Maintaining the integrity of fire-rated walls and ceilings is of paramount importance. Compromising the fire rating can have serious consequences in the event of a fire. It can allow fire and smoke to spread more quickly, endangering occupants and firefighters. By carefully considering the alternatives to cut-in boxes and following the recommendations outlined above, you can ensure that your fire alarm system is installed safely and effectively. This will help to protect the building occupants and to minimize the risk of fire damage. The choice of which alternative to use depends on the specific circumstances of the project. Factors to consider include the type of construction, the size of the corridor, and the budget. It is important to carefully weigh the pros and cons of each option before making a decision. No matter which alternative is chosen, it is essential to follow all applicable codes and standards. This will help to ensure that the fire alarm system is properly installed and that it will function as intended in the event of a fire. Proper installation and maintenance of fire alarm systems are critical for life safety. These systems provide early warning of a fire, allowing occupants to evacuate safely. They also help to control the spread of fire, giving firefighters more time to extinguish the blaze. By taking the time to install and maintain fire alarm systems properly, you can help to protect lives and property. For surface-mounted raceways, consider the size and capacity. Choose a raceway large enough to accommodate all of the fire alarm wiring, with some extra space for future expansion. Ensure that the raceway is properly supported to prevent it from sagging or falling. The support should be spaced according to the manufacturer's instructions. Use fire-rated fasteners to attach the raceway to the wall or ceiling. When making connections to the raceway, use fire-rated fittings. These fittings will help to prevent the spread of fire and smoke. Seal any penetrations through the raceway with fire-rated caulk or sealant. When using electrical metallic tubing conduit with fire-rated mud rings, ensure that the conduit is properly grounded and bonded. This will help to prevent electrical shocks. Use approved fittings to connect the conduit sections. Tighten all fittings securely to prevent loosening. The mud rings should be installed tightly around the conduit. Fill any gaps between the mud rings and the wall or ceiling with fire-rated caulk or sealant. When using concealed conduit, carefully plan the conduit routing to minimize the number of bends and turns. This will make it easier to pull the wiring through the conduit. The conduit should be installed in a manner that protects it from damage. Use appropriate supports to secure the conduit to the wall or ceiling. Fire-rated ceiling boxes should be selected based on the type of ceiling system. The box should be compatible with the ceiling tiles or panels. The box should be securely attached to the ceiling structure. Remodeling boxes should be used with caution in fire-rated walls or ceilings. Ensure that the box is specifically designed for fire-rated applications. Follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully to maintain the fire rating of the wall or ceiling. Low-profile surface boxes are a good option for areas where space is limited. These boxes are typically made of plastic or metal. They are easy to install and can be painted to match the surrounding decor. Wireless fire alarm devices should be used with caution in areas where there is a lot of electrical interference. The wireless signal can be disrupted by other electronic devices, such as microwaves and cordless phones. Choose a wireless system that is designed to minimize interference. Regularly test the wireless system to ensure that it is functioning properly. The batteries in the wireless devices should be replaced regularly. Consider the type of fire alarm system that is being installed. There are two main types of fire alarm systems. These are conventional systems and addressable systems. Conventional systems use a simple wiring scheme to connect the fire alarm devices to the control panel. Addressable systems use a more sophisticated wiring scheme that allows each device to be individually identified. Choose the type of system that is best suited for the application. Consider the size of the building and the number of fire alarm devices that are required. Choose a control panel that is large enough to accommodate all of the devices. Consider the type of occupancy. Different types of occupancies have different fire safety requirements. Choose a fire alarm system that meets the requirements for the specific occupancy. Consider the cost of the fire alarm system. Fire alarm systems can range in price from a few $100s to several $1,000s. Choose a system that is affordable and that meets the needs of the application. Remember that fire alarm systems are designed to save lives and protect property. It is important to choose a system that is reliable and that is properly installed. With careful planning and attention to detail, it is possible to install a fire alarm system in a rated corridor without compromising the fire rating of the wall or ceiling. Consider consulting with a fire protection engineer. They can provide expert guidance on the selection and installation of fire alarm systems in rated corridors. They can also help to ensure that the system meets all applicable codes and standards. They can review the building plans and specifications and can provide recommendations on the best way to protect the building from fire. They can also help to develop a fire safety plan for the building. Remember that fire safety is everyone's responsibility. By taking the time to install and maintain fire alarm systems properly, you can help to protect lives and property. In the case of wireless devices, before installation, conduct a thorough site survey. This assesses signal strength and potential interference. Use a wireless fire alarm system that is specifically listed for commercial fire alarm applications. These systems are designed to meet stringent performance and reliability requirements. Ensure the wireless system has adequate battery backup. This ensures continued operation during power outages. The battery should be regularly inspected and replaced as needed. Mount wireless devices in locations that minimize obstructions to the wireless signal. Avoid placing devices behind metal objects or in areas with excessive concrete or masonry. Test the wireless system regularly. Verify that all devices are communicating properly with the control panel. Keep detailed records of all tests and maintenance performed on the fire alarm system. This documentation is essential for demonstrating compliance with codes and standards. It also helps to track the performance of the system over time. Train building occupants on the proper use of the fire alarm system. They should know how to activate manual pull stations and what to do in the event of a fire alarm. Conduct regular fire drills to familiarize occupants with the evacuation procedures. Coordinate with the local fire department. They can provide guidance on fire safety requirements and can assist with fire drills. Remember, fire safety is an ongoing process. Regularly review and update the fire safety plan to ensure that it remains effective. Stay informed about new fire safety technologies and best practices. The fire alarm system should be inspected and maintained regularly by a qualified technician. This will help to ensure that the system is functioning properly. The technician should test all of the devices and should check the wiring and connections. Any necessary repairs should be made promptly. If any changes are made to the building, the fire alarm system should be re-evaluated to ensure that it is still adequate. This is particularly important if walls are moved or new equipment is installed. The fire alarm system should be designed to provide early warning of a fire. This will give occupants time to evacuate safely. The system should also be designed to control the spread of fire. This will give firefighters more time to extinguish the blaze. The fire alarm system should be integrated with other building systems, such as the sprinkler system and the smoke control system. This will help to improve the overall fire safety of the building.